Thank you, Denise. How are you? How are you in Berlin?
Yeah, not bad. It's already cold, so let's start this up.
And so, Denise, you are Peruvian, but you're based in Berlin. What are you doing there?
I'm finishing my PhD in anti-corruption. I'm studying the political effects of the Lava Jato case in Peru and Brazil.
And do you have any preliminary findings you might want to share?
Peru is starting to look like the Brazilian case, unfortunately. So it's a lot of politicization, a lot of polarization among citizens. We see the use of anti-corruption efforts as a political weapon, which end up hurting the fight against corruption globally. So far, we see how there are these unanticipated effects of fighting corruption.
Right. Um, so in your spare time, Denise, you work with young Peruvian researchers in an initiative called Voceras. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What is Voceras?
Yeah, well, I have this kind of side project. I'm very interested, and I worked also alongside corruption with gender and politics, gender and policy, and Voceras, which is translated into Spoke Women. It's a project that tries to close the gender gap in Peruvian media. We noticed, the team is made up by two journalists, print and TV journalist, and myself, a researcher. We saw this gap in both the supply and the demand side. So they claimed that they didn't have enough names of women experts, and on the supply demand side, I claim that sometimes we didn't have the same opportunities to appear in media. So we came together to kind of promote this, and we have several projects which I'm sure we're going to talk about later on.
And you've mentioned the gender gap or the gender divide, but is it also a generational one? Is Voceras, at least the perception I have of Voceras, is not just women participating in media, but is also younger women that get a chance to participate?
Yeah, we haven't thought to showcase the work of only young women, but somehow since we use social media, it turns out that it's more appealing for younger female experts than older female experts. But although we have women ranging from 29 years old to 73, so it's quite diverse. And another thing is that we successfully managed to raise some funds. As an alumni of the University of Manchester, I won an award as Alumni of the Year. So we were granted some small money to start our website. Everything we do, it's on voluntary basis. We didn't receive any funding, but that funding. So we are trying to look for funding and opportunities and alliance in Peru and beyond.
So tell us a little bit about, so how does Voceras try to address this problem of lack of representation of women in the media?
So we have three steps. The first step is we produce monitoring and media monitoring. We see how it's the state of the art. So we saw this gap. We disseminate the results. We saw that less than a third of experts were women. Certain newspapers had this problem in a larger degree than other ones. The second step was training them with media training and how to write a column. And the third step is approaching media outlets themselves to show them how beneficial is for them to have a more diverse panel of experts, how it can increase their reputation, how can appeal to new audiences. So overall, like building a business case for gender equality in media.
And are you working with any experts, or are you trying to work with those who do not have, already the contacts, do not have the institutional support to be in the media? Because sometimes when you look at a paper and you do see women in the op-ed section, you'll recognize the names. So you'll see the same women from the same organizations being called in to write an op-ed, or in a TV program, you'll see the same women being interviewed. Are you working with them as well, or are you targeting those who do not have a chance to be in the media?
Well, we launch open calls. And although most of them are new faces, we also see women that we think they are already well established, but they always keen to learn more techniques and skills for, especially given this pandemic. For example, how to give an interview with how to appear into camera. So it's refreshing to know that women are always looking for new training. So we don't exclude women that are already, for us, more established or well known in media.
And where do they come from? Where are these experts based? Are they independent, working at think tanks, at universities, the private sector, NGOs? Is it all of the above, or?
Yeah, I think they come from different sectors. Universities, in a lesser degree, most are NGOs, maybe think tanks, independent scholar. A lot of women that return from their studies abroad, they're trying to connect and trying to participate in public debates. We also see more established scholars that are trying to get new techniques on how to appear in camera. And most of them, I will say, come from social science, law, but we had a special training for women in STEM because there's a particular gap there. But we are always actively looking for more lawyers, political scientists, economists. Unfortunately, current times demand more experts on these areas, given the political and economic turmoil in Peru.
Right. And so you've been running for how long? Is it just under a year?
More than a year. Yeah, we are relatively new. We try to do it, mostly based in Berlin. Every time I go to Peru, we had before the pandemic on-site training. Now we adapt ourselves to online training. It works quite well because we can include now Peruvian experts based elsewhere. Yeah. Women doing these PhDs or working abroad in international NGOs. So yeah, we're becoming more inclusive. Also, women based in other cities other than Lima. So we were hoping to do some on-site training in other regions, but well, pandemic happened. So the good thing about this new normality is that we are able to do it at a very low cost and in the most inclusive way.
Ven, di hola.
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 ¡Hola! Me encanta tu cabello.
Ya, anda.
Tiene que salir así como labores de cuidado.
Yeah, this will be in the video. Don't worry, we'll keep it there. Yeah. Anyway, so I was asking you about the length. How long have you been going? And the reason why is I was wondering if you've already got some impact. Do you see some change happening, even if it's sort of an initial intermediate impact of the work?
Yeah, journalists write to us all the time. We have this address book of experts, and we share with a lot of key journalists, and we have many journalists write to us personally or to the organization or social media and Voceras, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And we are always sharing public appearances of our Voceras, of our spokeswomen. And yeah, I've seen an increase of the number of young experts talking about a series of topics in Peruvian media. It's not common. You are familiar with it. It's the same old establishments. So it's refreshing to see and to hear new voices.
And in this period as well, what have you learned? Have there been any challenges, any big lessons learned from the process? Things that might inform how you progress in the future?
Yeah, we started as the word expert, like women expert, and of course we had to make we have to make sure that every person that self-identified as women are feeling included by our project, and also that we are approaching women leaders, for example, social leaders, leaders from the unions, indigenous leaders. So we're trying to make this project as broad and as inclusive as possible.
Is it because the term expert suggests a particular sort of way of knowing, a particular sort of ideal of who knows, rather than.
Yeah, and a lot of women don't feel experts. Of course, there are a lot of unconscious bias that say, I am an expert. Am I allowed, or should I sign up for this training? So a lot of people are wondering whether, I mean, I had a lot of friends, like personal friends, saying, oh, the project is amazing, but I don't know if I fit the criteria. And of course, they're experts and they're really good. And then you see how a lot of smart professional women out there don't even feel like they fulfill the criteria of a training, let alone other, for example, a job advertisement or another thing. So it's quite worrying.
Right. Yes. I mean, I can see that. And is it just a very specific question? Are you still working at the individual level? Right. You're working with the individual researchers or leaders or activists. You're not necessarily partnering or supporting their organizations.
Well, we had a couple of tailor-made training, for example, for women in finance. We're open for ideas, opportunities, and alliances with organizations in various topics. We also have hub of our key allies, like male allies, that can help us contact other women, for example, STEM. With 2 journalists and a political science team, we don't know many people in that area, so we had a lot of help with from our male allies in STEM, in economics. So yeah, it's a group effort.
Great. Well, that's very interesting. I think we see more of these initiatives popping up around the world. Brussels Binders comes to mind in Brussels, trying to get more women in events and the media as well in the Brussels area, and we see more initiatives like those in other parts of the world. So it's great. Thank you very much, Denisse, for sharing this initiative with us, and I do hope we'll hear more of Voceras here in Peru as well.
Thank you, Kike, and hopefully we can do something with think tanks soon.
Sure.